A top United States official in the Trump administration has resigned. I'm speaking about Joe Kent, who is the National Director for Counterintelligence. In his resignation letter, he has made a very impassioned plea to the President of the United States to rethink his position on attacking Iran, and essentially suggested it's not too late to reverse course on this, and this is a war that should not have happened. And he also referenced very clearly that as the director of national counterintelligence, that he could see no evidence that Iran was an imminent threat to the United States, or peripherally, for that matter, to Israel. You're listening to and viewing the Political Blowback podcast. My name is Steve Kostick, and I realize that, at the point where you're watching this video, to some of you, this may be kind of old news that may be, 2 or 3 days old. And so this is not a participation in helping to break this news so much as I would like to add my introspections and commentary. And I'd like you to do likewise as well in the comment section. And I'd like to dive just a little bit deeper into the dynamics of this event. I think it's, I'm going to preface this by saying this, that in a sense, this is not Donald Trump's first rodeo in terms of what I'm about to mention. He seems to have a little bit of a penchant for taking another country or another country's intelligence at pretty much face value, and essentially just saying, well, this country is claiming this. So rather than having the United States intelligence participate in discovery and to verify the intelligence that they're getting from another country, Donald Trump just tends to take things at face value and go, oh, well, they said this. So in this case, it's like Israel said, well, they can have a nuclear threat within 2 weeks, so we're going to attack them. And so the United States now must be very preemptive, and they need to get behind Israel and support their attack. And the rationale that was given by Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, was that Israel was going to attack anyways. So we realized that there were some vulnerabilities in other Gulf state nations because of our military presence. And so we had to get in there and be very, very supportive. And when in fact, look, there's lots of options on the table for the United States at that point. They simply could have said to Israel, we are going to help you to defend yourself, but you need to kind of cool your jets a little bit here, because we're just not going to dive in blindfolded on your say-so. We need to, our intelligence agencies need to work together with yours to verify that there is an imminent threat. And if it is discovered that there is an imminent threat, then we will back you up, and we'll go full Monty with you. So I think there was a bit of a rush to judgment here on the part of Donald Trump. He did this back in 2018 when he did a joint press conference with Vladimir Putin in Helsinki. And United States intelligence was saying that, Russia's been meddling in our election. That was Dan Coates, who was the director of the CIA at the time. Uh, and here's what Donald Trump said. Play the clip.
People came to me, Dan Coates came to me, and some others. They said they think it's Russia. I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this, I don't see any reason why it would be.
Donald Trump said, I can't see any reason why it would be. And of course, this just created absolute fury amongst everybody on Capitol Hill, including those Republicans in Congress. And then Donald Trump had to walk it back the next day and said, "What? No, I should have said, I can't see any reason why it wouldn't be." Uh, you know, words matter. And I think it's very important that when you have leadership on that scale, you have to have someone in charge that has the presence of mind to choose their words exceptionally carefully. Uh, what's the old adage? Loose lips sink ships. Um, so I think in the case of Joe Kent, here is a counterintelligence officer who has essentially come out and resigned. He's leaving a six-figure income job, which I'm sure was not that easy to walk away from on principle. And he said, I don't believe in this war. I do not believe that there was an imminent threat from Iran to the United States, or for that matter, to Israel. We have to rethink this. And I think in hindsight, look at the dynamics of what happened in the aftermath of Joe Kent resigning. The President of the United States came out with a statement in person in response to the press, and he turned around and said that Joe Kent was weak on security. That doesn't negate what he did. Your national director at the time of counterintelligence is saying there's no evidence here of Iran being an imminent threat. The operative word is imminent. So maybe there is a latent threat. He didn't expound on that. Maybe, Iran could evolve into an imminent threat. But at the time, prior to Donald Trump and Israel invading Iraq, all he's saying is there's no imminent threat. Let's put this into context here. This is not a girl guy Friday working in some branch of the civil service. This is the National Director of Counterintelligence. Now, whether you believe that this person is of squeaky clean moral character or not, it really doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is he was the National Director of Counterintelligence. And I think at bare minimum, what this situation should have inspired is a national dialogue. I mean, you're certainly not going to get that national dialogue from Republicans on Capitol Hill, who have largely just become yes people for Donald Trump. There's no independent thought with these people. It's like, I'm whatever Donald says, let's just go with that. And that is frightening. Moreover, this should inspire an international conversation about the motivations behind attacking Iran. When I say it should be an international conversation, I think Americans need to realize that the actions of Donald Trump has not only affected people inside the United States, but people the world over are spending copious amounts of extra money out of their personal budget for fuel costs. And most people are keenly aware that fertilizer costs are rising at a dramatic rate, and other supply chain disruptions are surfacing. And this is going to cost everyone internationally a very, very significant amount of money. So every person on this planet, and I dare say myself included, should be able to participate in a national conversation. My question to you now, and I'm going to invite you to put this in the comments section and express your feelings. Do you feel that Donald Trump made a rush to judgment on this attack of Iran? Do you think that there may be some validity to what Joe Kent was saying, and therefore should it have inspired a national or international conversation? And should Donald Trump rethink his position on this whole thing? Personally, I think he should. I think it's very important that the allies, the intelligence agencies of the allies, they all should have been included in this loop before this decision to charge was made by Donald Trump. I mean, Donald Trump is, he's expressing all kinds of frustration because the allies won't go into the Strait of Hormuz. Well, maybe one of the reasons for that is there are trust issues between Donald Trump and the allies. The allies are saying, look, this is a guy that wanted to invade Greenland. This is a guy that made an extremely imperialist move going into Venezuela. This is a guy that is just talking about waltzing into Cuba and taking it over. This is a guy that wanted to make Canada the 51st state and had the audacity to call a very well-respected leader the governor of Canada, or the governor of the 51st state. Please join in the conversation by putting your comments in the comment section. And just a reminder, sorry, I got a little tickle in my throat. Just a reminder that this is a new podcast. If you enjoy the dialogue and you enjoy the conversation, please take a brief moment to subscribe to this podcast and like and share. And we'd greatly appreciate it, because that's kind of how we get paid. We don't get paid in dollars. We get paid by your encouragement. Thank you and have a great day.